What's up YouTube, Everchild here, and I wanted to bring you today another deck review. Now, for you guys that don't know, deck review is not a deck profile warning in the beginning of the video because it's all about cards that are good and the good decks of the format. It's pretty much, like I said, it's just a review. It's just what the title offers. It's a review of the deck and what cards should be running in that deck. Don't expect me to talk about cards that everybody knows. Don't expect me to talk about the stable cards in the deck. These are the cards that are cards that people don't really realize are good in the deck or viable in the deck, or cards that people are debating whether they should run 2, 3, 1, or at all. Now, with that being said, just make that warning out, in case you guys thought this was a deck profile. Stay tuned, because I usually have deck profiles for my deck review videos. But anyway, this week's deck review is for a deck I like this format that I feel like is going to be good. Fire Fist. Now, this one's a 4-axis Fire Fist review. I feel like 4-axis is going to be better than 3-axis. 3-axis gets hit because defects can be stopped easily with Veiler. It can be stopped with Maxi with all its special summoning. I also think it's going to be slower now that Spirit's at 3. Plus, I think Fire Fist and... First, I think Fire Fist 4-axis and 3-axis took a big split with Judgment of the Light, which we'll talk about in a minute. There's one card in 4-axis Fire Fist that helped make this split, and I'll talk about it in a little while. Now, anyway, let's just get into the cards. First, I'm going to talk about 3 spells. 3 spell cards that you guys should run, or you guys should consider dropping, or whatever. But anyway, first I'm going to talk about Fire Formation Yoko. This came out in Judgment of the Light, if you guys don't know. And I think Yoko and the other one, Gaiku or something like that, I don't even remember what it's called, but I know that the two of them, the fact that they were even created, I think is great for the deck, simply because I feel like the deck didn't have enough Fire Formation spell cards. Prior to, I think it was Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, Fire Formation only had Tensu and Tenki. And then Tenzin and Tenkin were the other ones with, I think, Sieto or something like that. As the other trap, they only had like 5 back row cards. And I feel like with the release of Yoko and Gaiku, it's also Gaiku or something like that, I think it's great for the deck because it gives the deck more targets and it helps make the deck more viable, especially with what Yoko does. And if you guys don't know what Yoko does, let's get into it. Continuous spell card. When you activate this card, you can target one card, face a card your opponent controls, discard a Beast-type warrior, and if you do, destroy that monster. All Beast-type warriors you control gain 100 attack. Now, as you know, the standard continuous Fire Formation spell card gives your monsters 100 attack. That's great. Yada yada yada. That's not important. What's important here is the fact that you can discard a Beast-type warrior and destroy a card your opponent controls. You can destroy back row with this card. You can destroy your opponent's big monsters with this card. But I know a lot of you guys are like, whoa, but you got to discard a Beast warrior to activate it. No. Like, first and foremost, all the deck's monsters are Beast warriors. And I think, hear me out, I think discarding a Beast-type warrior helps you on down the field if you get the right combos off. And the reason I say that is because if you activate Yoko while you have your Brother of the Fire Fist Dragon on the board, you can get whatever monster you discarded back and spark a XYZ summoning, spark a Synchro summoning, or just pretty much spam the field with big level monsters and attack and potentially swing for game if you have the right cards on the board and you can protect them long enough. But the reason I want to talk about Yoko is because it's new, a lot of people don't know about it yet. Now you know. Look at it. Yoko, super rare. Get it. I'm personally going to run 2 of these just because I think the card really helps the deck. I think 3 might be a little overboard because you can get cloggy if you don't have that, that Fire Fist. The one problem with Yoko, I think has the same problem as Tenki. When it's activated, it's activated. It's not once per turn you can get it off. So when it's activated, it's kind of just sit on the board giving monsters 100 attack. But 100 attack doesn't really do anything for you 9 times out of 10. But the one time you play it, it's great. However, now let's move on to the next time we'll talk about. Fire Formation Tensu. Now I know a lot of people know what Tensu does already. You play Tensu and you get an extra normal summon. But the reason I want to talk about Tensu is because a lot of people I've seen are running this at 2. Really? The reason why I think Tensu is better and should be run at 3 is because you can abuse the hell out of it. It lets you normal summon again. Like, you can play Tensu and all of a sudden, now, once per turn, you get a second normal summon. Who doesn't want an extra normal summon? And the great thing about it is, what it said. It's a normal summon, not a special summon, which means you don't have to worry about Max C until you overlay. You don't got to worry about jogging. You don't have to worry about Crimson Blader stopping you from special summoning. You don't have to worry about being stopped. That's the great thing about this in this format. You can just normal summon with this deck until you go into the extra deck, of course, which automatically counts as special summoning. But a lot of people should be running this because I realize a lot of people running that too. But I feel like it helps the speed of the deck when you run an X3 because you can activate it once per turn. It's not like Tinky and Yoko where if it's on the board after it's activated, it's kind of just giving your monsters attack. I mean, when it's on the board, it's giving your monsters to attack, yes, but at the same time, your next turn, you're getting another normal summon. So you don't have to worry about having just, I don't know, a Gorilla on the board with nothing to do with it. If you have another monster and Tensu on the board, now you can normal summon again and go into your extra deck and get your Tiger King out. You can get your Cardinal out and just fuck your opponent over. Like I said, I'm running it at 3. I think it's a great card. Card I'll talk about now, Duality. I know a lot of you guys are excited about the one that's at 3. Slow down because unless you have the right build or whatever, don't be too speedy to run this at 3. I think it's great to run it at 3, don't get me wrong. But I also think, by running that 2, you give space for stuff like new cards that are coming out, like Yoko and other stuff. But the reason why I love Duality myself is because it combos amazingly with Tensu. Another reason why Tensu is great, because Tensu lets you normal summon. This stops you from special summoning. You see what I'm going at here, children? If you have your Tensu on the board and you play Duality and you reveal something like Gorilla or Bear or Boar or Dragon or Snake or another monster, like literally another animal card, whatever the hell they want to call themselves, you can normal summon it again, and now you can go into your extra deck. So Duality doesn't really do anything, doesn't really hurt you if you have a Tensu on the board, because you're already on normal summon. Unless you already use normal summon effect, then you're screwed. Not really, but still. Like if you, say for instance, you open with your Tensu, your pot, and you have a monster in your hand, and that's your only monster you have. If you play Tensu, you play your monster, play Duality, and you reveal a second monster, you can grab the monster, use Tensu's effect to play another monster and overlay it automatically first turn, which can really hurt your opponent if you overlay into the right monster. Especially if you're playing like Evil Storms and you're playing as Ovion, you can overlay into Gemini right there. But yeah, I personally think it's great because that's another thing that I can't stop. Tensu lets you normal summon again, so you don't have to worry about Ovion saying you can't special summon. No, because it's normal summon. Even though all the Fire Formation monsters are at 4, all the good ones at least, with the exception of Swallow, because I know a lot of you guys are running that. But yeah, now I'm gonna get to some traps. First trap, Fire Formation Tenshin. I'm gonna get into this card because I know a lot of people are debating running this at 201. I think some people aren't even running it at all. You should. This is probably the best trap card that the Fire Formation has. But if you don't know what it does, it reads: when this card is activated, target one B-Side warrior you control. It gains 700 attack to the end phase. This attack gain remains even when this card leaves the field. So even if your opponent decides to MSC it, because it is a continuous spell, after you activate it or whatever, well, like say you activate it and the next shot goes by and they get an MSC and they decide to destroy it, you still get your 700 attack. So it's like, guess what? It doesn't matter. You didn't do anything to me. With a lot of the Fire Formation monsters having low, kind of average attacks at like 1600, 1700, 1100. I think Tenshin really helps boost it up. Plus, if you can keep on the board, all your other Beast Warrior type monsters gain 300 attack. So now you're essentially giving the monster you target 1,000 attack, which could really help create a beat stick for yourself and just swing over stuff. Especially when you have your Bear. I think this card is great with Bear because now you have Bear at, I think it's already at 1600. So now you have Bear at 2,600, plus Bear's effect lets you pop monsters and destroy monsters. Who doesn't want that? Now you have to go into extra deck to get something good. But I think this is a great card. Personally, 3, 2 in the deck should be great, should be fine. Anyway, next card. Fire Formation Tenkin, sorry. Tenkin, if you don't know, another continuous spell, because I think they're all continuous. I don't think any of them were like normal. But activate only during main phase 1 when this card is activated. Target one Beast Warrior type monster you control. During this phase, its effects are negated. Also, it's unaffected by the effects of other monsters. Sorry, other cards. Other cards other than this card. Sorry. this applies even if this card leaves the field. All beast type warriors get 300 attack. With that, with that last part, 300 attack, I think Tensu and Tenkin, do a great job because they give your monsters 300 attack. The other ones only give you 100 attack, but the 300 attack can really do something because once you get like near 1900 or 2000 attack, it's a pretty decent beat stick, and a lot of the monsters are already at 1500, 1600, 1700 you start out with. So I think this extra attack really helps. Now, as for the effects, where you're unaffected by other cards, I think this works great in a mirror match because if your opponent has a bear and he activates bear and you activate Tenkin, now you're unaffected by your bear's his bear's effect. And if his bear's attack is lower than the monster you control, guess what? Now you're in the clear because now he can't attack over you. He's probably using that bear effect to get off the monster so he can attack you directly or attack something else. But I think Tenkin does a good job protecting. Plus, if you're using it again, if you use the effect on a monster such as like Boar or something else, like you can the XYZ with or single summon with, it doesn't hurt you because if you use it on, like, say you use it on Boar, for instance, sure you use Boar's effects, but if you plan on using Boar next turn for a synchro summon and you didn't have Tensu to like normal summon another monster on with Boar, and you just synchro summon, you have to like pretty much normal summon and then wait a turn and normal summon again. By dropping Tenki in a mirror match against like a bear, you can protect your Boar, and the next turn you can normal summon and synchro summon. That way you can have your Boar on the board for a little while longer. And it's also good against other monsters too. Like say you want to use it on another Fire Fist monster that you planned on overlaying with later on. I think it's good for that aspect too. 3 more types I want to talk about real fast. Going Phantom Beast, if you guys don't know, it pretty much essentially you just target a beast or beast type warrior, and it gains 800 attack. If it destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, you can draw a card. I think this card adds the speed to the deck. You get the draw. Draw power is great in any deck. Plus, the 800 attack isn't that bad because 800 attack for the monster. Plus, you gotta calculate all the other attacks you're probably gonna have for the other Fire Formation cards you're gonna have in your back row. Only thing about this one's equip, I think. No, it equips it to it, but it doesn't have the equip symbol. Don't know what that's about, whatever. Next card I'm going to talk about. Now, the next 2 cards I'm going to talk about fast are side deck options. I actually decided myself, Gozen Match. I think this is great against certain decks because I know certain decks have different different attributes. However, like I said, it's good for a side deck because in this particular format, it just seems like there's a lot of attribute-based decks. Constellars and Illusions are lights, even Storms are darks. This is going to get something like Prophecies, though, where it's light, darks, water, earth, so stuff like that. If you don't know what the effect means, it says each player sends monsters they control the graveyard, so they control only one attribute. Each player cannot control monsters with different attributes. So, I think it slows down other decks. They're all fire, so it's great in that aspect. Next one I'm talking about fast. Rivalry of the Warlords simply just reads, each player can only control one type of monster, send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. They're all beast-type warriors. Now, I think this card is going to be better than Gozen Match's format because this one hits a lot more decks. This one hits Dolces, this one hits Evil Swarms, it hits Constellars, it doesn't hit Prophecies, it doesn't hit Blackwings, but it hits Mermels, Mono Mermels, Mermaid Landings. So I think it helps that part because there's a lot of decks in this format that have different types, and this one has just one type all around, so I think it helps a lot. That's it for Slow and Chop cards. I'm going to talk real fast about 4 monsters. First monster I'm going to talk about, Brofist Gorilla. Now, I know a lot of you guys are wondering why. Brofist Gorilla is something you guys should be winning at 3. Maybe 2. But the reason I say 3 or 2 is because a lot of people only think about winning this at 1, or not even at all. In this particular format, you need to run this bad boy. You don't have your Heavy Stone to fall back on anymore. And a lot of people are probably siding MST, and you only get 3 MSTs. This bad boy, however, you can pop back row for as many Fire Formation cards you have, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a Fire Formation card. That's just the best part. It's pretty much a Scrap Dragon, except you use it on your opponent's back row with your back row. So it's like, I got a Yoko on the board I can't use again, pop the Yoko, and pop your back row. Which is great in that aspect. Also, if you know the other quirk, it's if it destroys opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can set a fire formation spell card directly from your deck. So now you can attack, set a card, and next turn you'll have a card automatically to destroy your opponent's back row. So, you know, if your opponent happens to have that one Mirror Force, because you know Mirror Force is going to go up and play, you don't have to worry about it no more. Next card I'm talking about, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Boar. Now this is the card I was talking about when I said Judgment of the Light really split the two Fire Fist 3-axis and 4-axis, because the only tuner that both fists really had was, if I'm not mistaken, the only one I know was Spirit, which was a 3. And with 3 axes, if you guys don't know, it's 3 stars, 4 axes, 4 stars. So if you have all 4-star monsters and you have your one Spirit, which actually its effect helps 3-star Brotherhood of the Fire Fist monsters, it doesn't do anything for you. That's why I feel like they released Boar, because now 4 axes has its own tuner with the 4 stars. Now, if you guys don't know what Boar does, because it's new, I'll read it to you. Cannot be used as a single summon material. Like, cannot be used as a single summon material except for the single summoning of a fire-type monster, which is great because now Kieran you can use it for. You can't use it for for Horse Prince because you need like a level 2 monster, which you're not going to have. However, like I said, you can use it for Kieran, which just came out. I'll get into that in a second. You can use it for Crimson Blader, which you're going to be needing. So it helps that aspect because you know all of them are level 4s. He's level 4. I mean, level 4 tuner, so you know, easy 8s if you can get them up. Plus, if you can negate his effect somehow, then you can just overlay for any rank 8, or any you can single summon for any level 8. But anyway, the rest of this effect reads: when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 Fire Fist monster from your deck, except Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Boar. Once per turn, when a Fire Fist monster is special summoned from your extra deck, you can set one Fire Formation spell card directly from your deck. This guy has so many pluses for you. Because with Tanky now down to 2, you're going to need more ways to search. Boar gives you that search power. You can have him be destroyed, and all of a sudden now you can search. Plus, if he's destroyed, it's no big deal because if you want to Synchro later, like I said, you can use Dragon to get him back. But yeah. Now the other great part about him is when a Fire Formation monster is special summoned from your extra deck, which this is once again where Tensu comes back into play, because if you have Boar on the board and you have 2 Fire Formation monsters, if you normal summon the first one and you use Tensu's effect and normal summon another one, the 2 monsters you just normal summon, you can overlay with them to go into your Tiger King or something, and automatically, or your Cardinal or whatever, and automatically your Boar is going to activate his effect because now all of a sudden you just have sent a Fire Formation monster from your extra deck to the board, giving off Boar's effects. So it pretty much does more searching for the deck. The deck does a great job searching for spell cards. Next one I want to talk about Brotherhood of the Fire Fist is Snake. I like Snake a lot. I like Snake as much as I like Dragon. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. I like Dragon better. But I like Snake like I like Dragon because 1,800 attack. These monsters usually have 1,600 attack, which really doesn't help to help the archetype as far as attacking monsters. That's why they rely on Sensus and Yokos and Sensu and Tanky and stuff like that to up their attack. But at 1,800, you know, all you have to do is have 2 spell cards on the board and you're already at 2,000. You equip this with a Tenshin, and you have Yoko and Tanky on the board, you already have a monster at 3,000 attack. So, you know, clap properly to you. You've got a beat stick on the board, which is great. Plus its effect, you know, once per turn, if a Fire Formation spell trap card is sent to your field, to your graveyard, except in the damage step, you can set one Fire Formation trap card directly from your deck, which means he helps get out your Tenshin and your Tankin really fast. Plus, if he's on the board with like Gorilla or Bear and you use their effects, automatically his effect's going to activate and kick in, which is great. Once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can send 2 face the Fire Formation trap cards you control to the graveyard to draw 1 card, which is also great because his effect activates on himself. If he's on the board by himself and you have Yoko and the Tanky, which are just going to be dead on the board anyway, you can use those to draw. Helps the speed of the deck immensely. Plus, when you look at it, when they are sent to the graveyard, now his other effect activates because all of a sudden you have a Fire Formation spell trap card being sent to the graveyard, which means now you can do your search for your trap card. So his effect works on himself. So if you have just a snake on the board, it's great for yourself because you can really help yourself. Also, like before, it's like the last time, so you can overlap. I know I said I have 4 monsters I'm talking about, but I also want to talk about Dragon real fast. 2 or 3 dragons, guys, because Dragon is your monster of this format. You send to, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't have mine yet, mine's coming in the mail. If I'm not mistaken, you send to Fire Formation spell or trap cards to the graveyard, and you can special summon one Fire Formation monster from your deck, from your graveyard. Sorry, which allows you to pretty much spark your XYZ summoning and spark your Shinkos, and also Dragon, another monster at 1,800 attack, which is great for the deck. Another monster I'm talking about, Coach Trainer Wolfbark or whatever. His effect is I can't remember because I also have that coming in the mail. It's something like you can special summon one monster from your graveyard once per turn, and its effects are negated. But who cares if its effects are negated? Because once per turn you can special summon a monster from your graveyard, another monster born pretty much for the deck, and it's for Beast Warriors only. Plus he's a Beast Warrior type, so now you can special summon it. This deck does a great job, especially with Dragon and Wolfbark, with recycling your monsters and spamming the field with your extra deck monsters. But with Judgment of Light coming out, with Boar, Yoko, and Wolfbark coming out, it's great. It makes the deck fast. Another card that I don't have that I would have had if you saw my Judgment of Light video. I don't know if I put it up yet. I have to put it up for you guys. But I pulled Coach Captain Bearman, which is great because Bearman officially makes it so you can run rank 8. If you don't know his effect, it's once per turn you can change all the targets, change out monsters levels to 8 stars, and you can overlay into rank 8 pretty much. The only monster you can't overlay to rank 8 is, I think, Coach Captain himself. But it doesn't matter because now if you have 3 other monsters on the board and you use Coach Captain's effect, now you're looking at a Neon Galaxy Photon Dragon or something, Neon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and your opponent's like, how the hell did you even get that out? That shit's gonna really fuck some of the guys, minds up, because nobody's gonna be expecting that. Nobody's gonna be expecting you to spam the field with a rank 8. So once you do, I think it helps immensely because now you get the element of surprise and your opponent has to recalculate their whole plan because they're thinking, oh, Fire Fist, I know how to do this. Not when the rank 8's on the board because nobody's running rank 8s. Sorry, now this is definitely the last one I'm talking about before this video ends. I know it's getting pretty long. But the Fire Fist Kieran. This card just came out. Now when I looked at it, I was like, not too big a fan of it. It's alright. I would run it 1 maybe. But just to get into it, 1 Fire Tuner and 1 non-tuner Fire Fist monster. But when this card is single summon, you can set 1 Fire Formation Trap spell trap card directly from your deck. All monsters your opponent control loses 800 attack for 100 attack for each face-up spell trap card you control. The reason why he's good, for starters, he's already at 2,000 attack, and most of the monsters you guys have in your Fire Fist deck are already under 2,000 attack. Another reason he's good is when he's single summon off the gate, you can set a Fire Formation card. And he pretty much puts use to all those extra Fire Formation cards in your back row. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a lot of Fire Formation cards in your back row. I've seen it myself when I played it. I've seen it myself against other people using it. And he puts those cards to work. Because not only are those cards going to give you 100 attack for each of them, or 300 attack if the trap card, but now they're also going to take away 100 attack from your opponent. Plus, with 2,800 defense, you can single summon him in defense position and just have him sitting there in defense position chilling. Or if you wanted to, you can single summon him and use Tenzin and pretty much get him up to 3,000 attack. Plus, if you have a Tanky on the board, you're looking at 3,300, which is a great beat stick. It's all about powering up, and he gives you a good start to power up at. So I kind of like Kieran if you play him right, but if you Veiler him, that's the only problem. Now you're looking at a 2,000 attack. But like I said, from in defense, great defense to fall back on. That's pretty much it for what I want to talk about as far as Fire Fist Archetype. The deck is really good, really viable. I see it topping a few YCSs. I'm expecting to see this deck at Worlds unless our multiple ban list hits it this format. Hopefully it doesn't. Love to hear what you guys are running and what you guys think of the deck, how you guys are running it. Put in the comment section. hit the subscribe button down there, guys. I know you guys a lot of you guys like to watch the videos. Just take time out to subscribe. Promise you the videos I put up will help your day, maybe make your day better, make you want to run some stuff, whatever. But yeah, love to hear what you guys have to say about it. For my subscribers and people who consistently watch my channel, expect my Card of the Week videos to be up soon, because I have not been up to date on those. Sorry, but yeah, those will be coming up soon too. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. So, y'all, signing out. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later, YouTube.